I had to do a video on Donald Trump. It's been very bizarre this last season. He's had LaToya and Dionne Warwick, Star Jones, NeNe Leakes from the TV show Housewives of Atlanta, and those are the main characters who, of course, were fighting, doing a lot of infighting, and it looked like Donald was having a lot of fun watching these black women go at each other in a rather embarrassing way on television, very public and very immature. Of course, a lot of it was spurred on by NeNe Leakes, who has really nothing to lose. I mean, she doesn't have anything financially. She's not in the media business. That's not how she gets her income normally. She's new to this, and so she doesn't have much to lose. She's divorced, and you know, she was just there to ruin and embarrass everybody. And Trump really, really was getting very excited about it. So I was watching that, and I kind of wondered, why in the world he set it up that way to have these women, knowing that he had put that instigator NeNe into the whole position. One of the things that happened was a statement by Trump where he said to Star Jones, he was commenting on her weight, how much weight she lost. And he said, he said it was a whole lot easier for her to get up into her butt now that she has lost the weight. We're all shocked. What's he talking about? And then Star, even just as remarkably, says it's a whole lot easier than it was before I lost the weight. Well, even Trump Jr. was at a loss for words at this exchange, and I thought this is the most bizarre thing I've ever heard anybody say to anybody, especially male to female, and people who are professional friends. They're certainly not real close friends. It just really was extremely unusual, bizarre, and left a real memory as to what is going on here, and this is all very strange. Now let's go on to NeNe Leakes into this. The other thing I noticed in The Apprentice this year is that the cameraman, when NeNe did her, when she was the head of the project manager, the camera was often shooting straight down NeNe's blouse at her breasts, and it would stay on her breasts for a long time. Now NeNe, I think we revealed on her show that she had done pole dancing or stripping or something in the past, and so she did have a history of taking her clothes off, but certainly this Apprentice show was not supposed to be about putting the camera straight down her blouse while she's talking, and they're not even looking at her face. They're looking straight down her blouse. I mean, the camera's right there. If you watch the show, you'll see it. Then she goes at everybody. She calls everybody, she calls Star fat, and she calls her such every name in the book, and the same thing she did on the Housewives of the, Atlanta. And she used to always attack the girl who was an attorney, but she didn't like that girl having a degree, and she didn't like Star having a law degree. And then for LaToya, she didn't like LaToya because she was a Jackson, genetic. She was born into that family. That was not a choice. And she didn't like LaToya's skin color, and she didn't like LaToya's voice. LaToya speaks like her mom. Her mom has the exact same voice. And it went on and on, NeNe calling LaToya every name in the book. And LaToya is a picture of a domestic violence victim. She kept saying she likes NeNe. She wants to be friends with NeNe. She knows NeNe doesn't mean it. That's what you hear in domestic violence. The man's beating the woman up, calling her names, kicking her on the floor, and then she stays with him because she knows he loves her, and so forth, but the abuse continues. And NeNe, of course, would never ever recognize that she was treating LaToya badly. She never apologized. She felt she was right in everything she said. And it was just shocking to me, such a verbally abusive behavior. And NeNe was supposed to be working for a nonprofit organization which she created against domestic violence. Well, that nonprofit, who in the world would go there against domestic violence? You're just going to get beat up again by the head of the program, which is NeNe. So Anyway, NeNe was supposed to be working for against domestic violence, and she is a very typical person with an anger management problem, with violent behavior, aggressiveness, hostility, beat you down, just would beat people down over and over again with verbal insults on both the Housewives of Atlanta and also on the Trump show, and also with her getting right into your face. You know, you all have a private space around us. It's our own personal space. And NeNe would get in there with her bad breath right in your face and just egging for you to hit her so she could get into a street fight, I guess. I don't know what she's trying to do. But, I mean, that's really the same as smacking you in the face when you get that close to somebody, yelling in their face with your old disgusting breath. Nobody wants that. So what I would want for NeNe, I would like her to see her get some anger management, and I would like to see and some help with domestic violence or violent behavior, and also just some lessons on how to treat people, how to speak to people, and what to do when you do have these jealousies that come out in you and you want to tear people down to their bones. And for LaToya, I would like to see her to get some self-esteem. Would like her and every person who's involved in a domestic violence relationship to recognize domestic violence. When a person is insulting you continually, especially in public, showing you no respect, and for LaToya trying to beat her down in her own person, how she looks, how she talks, how she walks, how she acts, where she sits. You know, it's just nothing was ever going to be right with LaToya for NeNe. And when you recognize somebody like that, that's just pure hatred at you, and you need to get away. You don't need to sit there and make excuses for them. You don't need to call them your friend, because they're not your friend. You need to recognize this is violence, this is domestic violence, and your best thing is to get away, get into a safe environment, and not let this behavior continue, because the person gets stronger and stronger as they continue to beat you down on a regular basis. So I would like to see LaToya get some counseling, learn how to stand up for herself, stop calling these people her friends, and recognize, you know, she was on this show with NeNe, but I would hate to see LaToya and NeNe out together somewhere, because LaToya would end up getting attacked by NeNe probably, and I wouldn't doubt that NeNe would start grabbing LaToya's hair like she did to the other woman, or do some other stuff, maybe try to rip off her eyelashes or tear up her clothes. Who knows what would happen. So this is domestic violence. This is pure domestic violence set up, bullying, beating somebody down, taking something that's really not an issue. No one cares. You know, LaToya can be who she is. She's been that way for many years. We've all seen her. And accept LaToya as she is, or let her be. So it doesn't matter if you call that person who's bullying you a friend, a husband, a boyfriend, a sister, a child, one of your children, or any other relative or any other person in your life. If you have somebody like that in your life, that's a bully, that's domestic violence, and you need to get away. You need to find somebody. Even if you're by yourself, you're better off by yourself than with people who are going to treat you that way. So the Apprentice is very strange, and certainly does not elevate Donald Trump to anything that would be okay for a presidential candidate. It really brings him down by having the show come off in that manner. Very bad.